Hello there, hope you're well. Bible Barker here with a short story of Samson. Hope you're well. Let's dive in. That is in the book of Judges, chapter 13. We start the birth of Samson. Again, the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and the Lord delivered them into the hands of the Philistines for 40 years. Now there was a certain man from Zorah, of the family of the Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren and had no children. And the angel of the Lord appeared to the woman and said to her, Indeed now you are barren and have borne no children, but you shall conceive and bear a son. And now therefore, please be careful not to drink wine or similar drink, and not to eat anything unclean. For behold, you shall conceive and bear a son. See this, and no razor shall come upon his head, for the child shall be a Nazarite to God from the womb, and shall begin to deliver Israel out of the hand of Philistines. Delivery of Christ. So the woman came and told her husband, saying, A man of God came to me, and his encounter was like the countenance of the angel of God, very awesome. See, in those days, vile Mungu alikuwa amepotea kwa vision, they were so lost and they were oppressed under the Philistines. So the visions of Christ, the reality was very rare. Until she meets an angel, she doesn't even know that it's an actual angel. She thinks it's just a lookalike. See? Where are we? And for behold, you shall. Continue 6 part B. But I did not ask him where he was, and he did not tell me his name. She was so much afraid. And he said to me, Behold, you shall conceive and bear a son. Now drink no wine or similar drink, nor eat anything unclean, for the child shall be a Nazarite to God from the womb to the day of his death. Then Manoah prayed to the Lord and said, O Lord, please let the man of God whom you sent come to us again and teach us what we shall do for the child who will be born. And God listened to the voice of Manoah, and the angel of God came to the woman again, as she was sitting in the field. But Manoah, her husband, was not with her. Then the woman ran in haste and told her husband, and said to him, Look, the man whom came to me the other day has just appeared to me. So Manoah rose and followed his wife. Then he came to the man. He said to him, Are you the man who spoke to this woman? And he said, I am. Watch that. I am. This is when God was sending Moses. You remember that? He used this word, I am. Yeah? There was a revelation I got when let's go on. I'll talk about it later. So this is actually like Christ himself through the angel. Yeah? Let's go on. Manoah said, Now let your words come to pass. What will the boy's rule of life and his work? So the angel of the Lord said to Manoah, Of all that I said to the woman, let her be careful. She may not eat anything that comes from the vine, nor may she drink wine or similar drink, nor eat anything unclean. All that I recommend her, let her observe. Then Manoah said to angel of the Lord, Please let us detain you, and we will prepare a young goat for you. And the angel of the Lord said to Manoah, Though you detain me, I will not eat your food. But if you offer a burnt offering, you must offer it to the Lord. For Manoah did not know he was the angel of the Lord. Then Manoah said to the angel of the Lord, "What is your name, that when your words come to pass, we may honor you?" Then the angel of the Lord said to him, "Why do you ask of my name? See, it is wonderful." You see, the angel did not matter at that time. What matters was the message. Yeah. So Manoah took the young goat with the grain offering and offered it upon the rock to the Lord. And he did a wondrous thing while Manoah and his wife looked on. It happened as the flame went up toward heaven from the altar. The angel of the Lord ascended in the flame of the altar. Then Manoah and his wife saw this. They fell on their face to the ground. Then when the angel of the Lord appeared no more to Manoah and his wife, then Manoah knew that he was the angel of the Lord. And Noah said to his wife, "We shall surely die, because we have seen God." But his wife said to him, "If the Lord had decided to kill us, he would not have accepted a burnt offering and grain offering from our hands, nor would he have shown us all these things, nor would he have told us all things as this at this time." So the woman bore a son and called his name Samson. And the child grew, and the Lord blessed him, and the Spirit of the Lord began to move upon him at Mahanendan, between Zorah and Eshtaol. His name's name. Samson's Philistine wives. Now Samson went down to Timnah and saw a woman in Timnah of the daughters of the Philistines. So he went up and told his father and mother, saying, "I have seen a woman in Timnah of the daughters of Philistines. Now therefore get her for me as a wife." Then his father and mother said to him, "Is there no woman among the daughters of your brethren, or among all my people, that you must go and get a wife from these uncircumcised Philistines?" Imagine, this is a Nazarite falling in love with uncircumcised Philistines. Whatever the way God works through people. Wondrous. Remember the angel? Let's go on, sorry. And Samson said to his father, "Get her for me, for she pleases me well." But his father and mother did not know that it was of the Lord that he was seeking an occasion to move against the Philistines. For at the time the Philistines had dominion over Israel. So Samson went up to Timnah with his father and mother and came to the vineyards of Timnah. Now to his surprise, a young lion came roaring against him. And the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him, and he tore the lion apart as one would have torn apart a young goat, though he had nothing in his hand. This is wondrous. If you just imagine a lion and a young man. But he did not tell his father or his mother that he had done. Then he went down and talked with the woman, and she pleased Samson well. And sometime when he returned to get her, he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion, and behold, a swarm of bees and honey were in the carcass of the lion. He took some of it in his hands and went along eating. When he came to his father and mother, he gave some to them, and they also ate. But he did not tell them that he had taken the honey out of the carcass of the lion. So his father went down to the woman, and Samson gave a feast there. For a young man used to do so. And it happened, when they saw him, that they brought 30 companions to be with him. Then Samson said to them, "Let me pose a riddle to you. If you can correctly solve and explain it to me within the 7 days of the feast, then I will give you 30 linen garments and 30 changes of clothing. But if you cannot explain it to me, then you shall give me 30 linen garments and 30 changes of clothing." And they said to him, "Pose your riddle, that we may hear it." So he said to them, "Out of the eater came something to eat, and out of the strong came something sweet." Now for 3 days they could not explain the riddle. But it came to pass on the seventh day that they said to Samson's wife, Entice your husband, that he may explain the riddle to us, or else we will burn you and your father's house with fire. Have you invited us in order to take what is ours? Is that not so? Then Samson's wife wept on him and said, You only hate me, you do not love me, you have posed a riddle to the sons of my people, but you have not explained it to me. And he said to her, Look, I have not explained it to my father or my mother, so should I explain it to you? Now she had wept on him for 7 days while their feast lasted. And it happened on the seventh day that he told her, because she pressed him so much. Then she explained the riddle to the sons of her people. So the men of the city said to him on the seventh day before the sun went down, What is sweeter than honey, and what is stronger than a lion? And he said to them, If you had not plowed with my heifer, you would not have solved my riddle. Then the Spirit of the Lord came upon him mightily, and he went down to Ashkelon and killed 30 of their men, took their apparel, and gave the changes of clothing to those who had explained the riddle. You see, this is so strange. One man killing 30 people too? Strange. It is not a man, but it is God. So his anger was aroused, and he went back up to his father's house, and Samson's wife was given to his companion, who had been his best man. They had not even consulted him. After a while, in the time of wheat harvest, it happened that Samson visited his wife with a young goat, and he said, Let me go to my wife into her room. But her father would not permit him to go in. Her father said, I really thought that you thoroughly hated her. Therefore I gave her to your companion. Is not her younger sister better than she? Please take her instead. And Samson said to them, This time I shall be blameless regarding the Philistines if I harm them. Then Samson went and caught 300 foxes. How can a man catch 300 foxes? Even just one. Do you know the size of a fox? And how can 300 of them be just there waiting, if this is not some strange, wondrous things that the Lord is doing? Let's go on. When he had set, then Samson went and caught 300 foxes, and he took torches, turned the foxes tail to tail, and put a torch between each pair of tails. This is like something he was commanding them. I have dealt with dogs, so you can command dogs and they obey. So I tend to believe so, that he was giving them a command or something. Yeah. When he had set the torches on fire, he let the foxes go into the standing grain of the Philistines, and burned up both the shocks and the standing grains, as well as the vineyards and olive groves. Then the Philistines said, Who has done this? And they answered, Samson, the son-in-law of the Timnite, because he had taken his wife and given her to his companion. So the Philistines came up and burned her and her father with fire. Samson said to them, Since you will do a thing like this, I will surely take revenge on you, and after that I will cease. So he attacked them, hip and thigh, with a great slaughter. Hiyo ni vita inoma sana. Then he went down and dwelt in the cleft of the rock of Etam. Yani aliua jamaa tu. Hip and thigh. And the Philistines went up and encamped in Judah and deployed themselves against Lehi. And the men of Judah said, Why have you come up against us? So they answered, We have come up to arrest Samson, to do to him as he has done to us. Then 3,000 men of Judah went down to the cleft of the rock of Etam and said to Samson, Do you not know that the Philistines ruled over us? What is this you have done to us? And he said to them, As they did to me, so I have done to them. But they said to him, We have come down to arrest you, that we may deliver you into the hand of the Philistines. Then Samson said to them, Swear to me that you will not kill me yourselves. So they spoke to him, saying, No, but we will tie you securely and deliver you into their hands, but we will surely not kill you. And they bound him with 2 new ropes and brought him up from the rock. When he came to Lehi, the Philistines came shouting against him. Then the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him, and the ropes that were on his arms became like flax in the burnt with fire, and his bonds broke loose from his hands. He found a fresh jawbone of a donkey, reached out his hand and took it, and killed 1,000 men with it. Then Samson said, imagine jawbone moja nagonga nga. I think he was just like hitting 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 2,000. Wondrous. Then Samson said, with the jawbone of a donkey, heaps upon heaps, with the jawbone of a donkey I have slain 1,000 men. Deadly sana. And so it was, when he had finished speaking, he threw the jawbone from his hand and called that place Ramah Lehi. Then he became very thirsty, so he cried out to the Lord and said, you have given this great deliverance by the hand of your servant, and now shall I die of thirst that fall into the hand of the uncircumcised? So God spilled the hollow place that is in Lehi, and water came out, and he drank. Imagine, he just spoke, and water came out. God responded to the Nazarite. Is it more strange? Hey, story of Samson, Joe. Oh, let's go on. Therefore he called its name En-Hakore. Sounds like Enkararai, somewhere in that mountain Ololokwe, or Hakore, which is in the Lehi to this day. And he judged Israel 20 years in the days of Philistines. So he was the judge now. Samson and Delilah. Now Samson went to Gaza and saw a harlot there. Imagine a judge out of all the virgins of the land, the beautiful women, the Israelites. This Nazarite is, yani harlot ndiye anampendeza. Tena wa Philistine. Let's go on. When the Gazites were told, now in Gaza, when the Gaza were told, let me not say, the war is Israel and Gaza. Samson has come here. They surrounded the place and lay in wait for him all night at the gate of the city. They were quiet all night, saying, in the morning, when it is daylight, we will kill him. And Samson lay low till midnight. Then he arose at midnight. Imagine, ameshajua majamaa wamemkujia. He already knows that he has been surrounded. So he lies low till midnight. Then in the midnight, he arose at midnight, took hold of the doors of the gate of the city. The doors of the gates of the city, they were big and they have big pillars. But this Jamaa, this Nazarite, this Samson, hold the gate, pulled them up, bar and all, put them on his shoulders and carried them to the top of the hill that faces Hebron. Yani, a heavy gate with all its pillars and bars, puts them on his shoulder, goes uphill, mlima, and Samson bana, where? Remember mlima wa Hebron? Let me just go on. Afterward, it happened that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah, and the lords of the Philistines came up to her and said to her, entice him and find out where his great strength lies, and by what means we may overpower him, that we may bind him to afflict him, and every one of us will give you 1,100 pieces of silver. You know what betrayed Jesus? Kumbe ilianzia hata huku. Alala. So Delilah said to Samson, "Please tell me where your great strength lies, and with what you may be bound to afflict you." The woman wants to find out the weakness of the lover. Huyu ni harlot kabisa. So let's go on. And Samson said to her, "If they bind me with 7 fresh bowstrings not yet dried, then I shall become weak and be like any other man." So the lords of the Philistines brought up her 7 fresh bowstrings not yet dried, and she bound him with them. Now men were lying in wait, staying with her in the room. And she said to him, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson." But he broke the bowstrings as a strand of yard breaks when it touches fire. So the secret of his strength was not known. Then Delilah said to Samson, "Look, you have mocked me and told me lies. Now please tell me what you may be bound with." So he said to her, "If they bind me with secluded new ropes that have never been used, then I shall become weak and be like any other man." Therefore Delilah took new ropes and bound him with them and said to him, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson." And men were lying in wait, staying in the room, but he broke them off his arms like a thread. Delilah said to Samson, "Until now you have mocked me and told me lies. Tell me what you may be bound with." And he said to her, "If you weave the 7 locks of my head into the web of a loom." So she wove it tightly with the button of the loom, and said to him, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson." But he awoke from his sleep and pulled out the button and the web from the loom. Then she said to him, "How can you say, 'I love you,' and your heart is not with me? You have mocked me, women, these 3 times, and you have not told me where your great strength lies." And it came to pass when she pestered him daily with her words and pressed him, so that his soul was vexed to death, that he told her all the heart, and said to her, "No raise has ever come upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite to God from my mother's womb. If I am shaven, then my strength will leave me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man." Boom. Boom, boom, boom. All men are weak. Too bad. He gave it out. I didn't expect this. Oh. Women, they can pester you until they get what they want. Then, when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, "Come up once more, for he has told me all his heart." So the lords of the Philistines came up to her and brought the money in their hand. Then she lured him to sleep on her knees and called for a man and had him shave off the 7 locks of his head. Then she began, "Ini ile siku za mchele, ile mchele nasikia wanapeanga wase wanazima kuzima. Ala." Then she began to torment him. Then she lured him to sleep on her knees and called for a man and had him shave off the 7 locks of his. He had 7 locks. Oh man, I wish I'd seen Samson. Then he began to torment him, and his strength left him. You see, wait. Then she began to torment him. Oh my, this woman is evil. And his strength left him. So, besides just shaving, she tormented. What torments you? What is evil? Too bad. And he said to him, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson." So he woke up his sleep and said, "I will go out as before, as the other times, and shake myself free." But he did not know that the Lord had departed from him. And the Philistines took him and put out his eyes and brought him down to Gaza. They bound him with bronze fetters, and he became a grinder in the prison. However, the hair of his head began to grow again after it had been shaven. Now the lords of the Philistines gathered together to offer great sacrifice to Dagon their god, and to rejoice. And they said, "Our God has delivered into our hand Samson our enemy." When the people saw him, they praised their God. They said, "Our God has delivered into our hands our enemy, the destroyer of our land, and the one who multiplied our dead." So it happened, when their hearts were merry, and that they said, "Call for Samson, that he may perform for us." So they called for Samson from the prison, and he performed for them, and they stationed him between the pillars. Then Samson said to the lad who held him by the hand, let me feel the pillars which support the temple, so that I can lean on them." Now the temple was full of men and women. All the lords of the Philistines were there, about 3,000 men and women on the roof watching while Samson performed. Then Samson called to the Lord, saying, "O Lord God, remember me, I pray. Strengthen me, I pray, just this once, O God, that I may with one blow take vengeance on the Philistines for my 2 eyes." And Samson took hold of the 2 middle pillars which supported the temple, and he braced himself against them, one on his right and the other on his left. Then Samson said, "Let me die with the Philistines." And he pushed with all his might, and the temple fell on the lords and all the people who were in it. So the dead that he killed at his death were more than he had killed in his life. And his brothers and all his father's household came down and took him and brought him up and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol in the tomb of his father Manoah. And he had judged Israel 20 years. Oh, what a sad ending. I hope you enjoyed, as I do enjoy. This Bible has mysteries, mysterious stories. What lessons have you drawn so far? How can you relate it in the current times? Please do like the video, share, subscribe, and comment. Bye bye, love you.